Betty. I'm a second year student majoring in English.
Hi, my name is Emily Zandbergen, and I am a third-year student majoring in theater and business.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm a fourth-year anthropology student.
Hi, my name is Kayla, and I'm a third-year student majoring in political science.
Hi, my name is Lily. I'm in my third year of honors arts with a major in political science with a minor in legal studies.
Hi, I'm Ria, and I'm entering my 4B term of honors arts in legal studies and sociology.
Hi, my name is Vinaya, and I'm a student in third year majoring in psychology.
My number one study tip is studying efficiently. And what I mean by that is, for example, if your professor is closely talking about this one aspect of the material during their lecture, you want to make sure that you're paying close attention to that within the readings as well and not just skimming over everything evenly. You want to think about like what the professor was talking about and what you can study further in the readings.
My number one study tip is to always reward yourself after putting in the work. So let's say you need to finish an assignment, set aside something like a chocolate bar or something you want to do, and when you finish it, you know that you're going to be able to have that delicious chocolate bar.
My number one study tip is using the Portal app to find empty classrooms in either Haggie Hall, Arts Lecture, or even sometimes Pass, so I can use those classrooms and write all over the whiteboard or the chalkboard and study that way. And then I also like to pretend that I'm teaching the class because the best way that I learn is by teaching.
My number one study tip would have to be using cue cards. I find that they are very helpful because they help keep me on track and they help me to memorize information.
My number one study tip would definitely be to set a couple of goals at the beginning of your study session so that you can stay on track while you're doing your work, and also allows you to plan out your time so you can take breaks and keep on track.
My number one study tip is to study with people who you know you'll be productive with, because I've spent a lot of time with friends studying and we basically get nothing done. So just make sure that you're with people who can help you be productive.
My number one studying tip is to make sure you have a really good set of notes, whether that be rewriting your notes from previous lectures or having a really good color scheme.
I'd say that workload is different from high school to university in that you really get to decide your own workload in university. Like, there aren't going to be teachers nagging you to get the readings done and to hand in your homework. If you don't want to do all the readings in university, you don't have to. It all just kind of depends on like what you want reflected in your final grade.
Yes, the workload is more in university, but that being said, it's totally manageable as long as you manage your time wisely.
For me, the difference between high school and university was not how much, but what you're doing. So in high school, it was a lot more like you study for the unit test and then you learn more and you study for the next unit test. There were a lot more opportunities to prove yourself. With university, there are a few opportunities for you to make a really good impression, and that's the main difference.
I think there's definitely a jump between the workload in high school compared to university. Probably a lot more readings and assignments and writing, but I think that over the terms and as you go through your years in school, you definitely learn strategies on how to manage that workload. Reaching out to your professors and campus resources for support also really helps with managing a workload that you might not be used to.
This would really depend on what program you're in and what courses you're taking, but I generally say that the workload is a lot more. However, you have a lot more time to figure out a study schedule that works for you and pace yourself. So overall, it's not drastic.
In comparison to high school, the university workload is quite familiar, but there are more concrete deadlines and much more readings to do. If you're constantly doing your readings and constantly staying up to date, you have nothing to worry about.
I manage my stress by always making time for things that I want to do. So knowing that I have to get a lot of stuff done, it's still important to take time for yourself, spend time with friends, do things for yourself to take care of yourself.
The way I manage stress is either by singing or by dancing. Those are two things that I really enjoy doing, and they're things that just let me get out of my own head and just exist in the moment. And I also think that singing is a great way to just let out all your frustration.
Everyone manages stress a little bit differently, but for me personally, I like to set a bit of time at the end of each day for myself. Sometimes I will watch Netflix, other times I will talk with friends or family, and this just helps me to de-stress after a long day of working or studying.
How I manage stress while I'm in school is trying to make a little bit of time every day to do something that I enjoy. So for me, that's listening to new music, watching a new TV show, or reading a book.
When it comes to dealing with stress, I find that taking a step back from the studying or assignments that you're doing is very helpful, and keeping yourself busy, whether that be working out or hanging out with friends, family, whatever it may be, taking that step back will really help you have that reset and fresh mind when you get back to your assignments.
Extracurriculars can be a lot of work, but they're also a lot of fun, and you get to build the skills that co-op employers are actively looking for, such as responsibility, communication skills, and problem solving.
Extracurriculars in university is the best way to make friends with similar interests to you, and it gives you something to do other than just studying.
Joining an extracurricular or getting involved is amazing. You get to meet so many different people who have a similar point of view or a similar work ethic or have similar interests, and it just allows you to broaden the horizons of the people that you meet, which is really the best part about university.
The University of Waterloo offers a wide variety of extracurricular activities, and some of the benefits of joining these extracurricular activities include making new friends and gaining experiences that will last you a lifetime. A lot of the experiences that you will have at university will help you to develop skills that you will use in your future.
I think some benefits of joining extracurriculars on campus is you get to connect and meet a lot of new people and explore a lot of different interests.
Some benefits to joining extracurricular activities is that you're able to network, make new friends, learn new things, and I think it's such a good idea to do, especially in your first and second year, because you're able to expand your knowledge of the university itself and what's available to you on campus and virtually.
To balance extracurriculars in school, the biggest thing is just time management. Schedule your time out, make time for those extracurriculars, and make time for that studying.
For me, thinking about my extracurriculars as a sixth course in my schedule is the best way for me to make the time, because I schedule it like it's a lecture or like it's me writing for a paper. So whether it's a club or a society, putting that time in your schedule is amazing for extracurriculars.
Working, studying, and being a part of extracurricular activities can be a lot of work. Personally, what I do to balance everything is I keep an agenda. In this agenda, I'll write down when my meetings are, when my due dates are, and when I hope to work on certain activities. Additionally, I also try my best to put time aside to work on my extracurricular activities, which differs from the time that I study. This just helps me to keep organized and make sure that I don't fall behind.
One thing that I do to manage doing extracurriculars with school is scheduling out my days so that I stay organized and know what I'm going to be doing every day.
I'd say my tip for balancing school and extracurriculars is knowing your limits and staying within them. You probably want to create a schedule that will allot time for your extracurriculars, so you know when you'll be dedicating time to those versus when you'll be dedicating time to studying. But it's still so worth it, even though it can be time-consuming.
For co-op interviews or just interviews in general, it's always good to provide examples. So for every skill that you list, you should have an example of when you demonstrated that skill.
To impress an interviewer, always have questions prepared that you want to ask them, because they will always ask you if you have any questions and you don't want to say no.
Best thing you can do to impress an interviewer is make your major the most interesting thing on the face of the planet Earth. I'm an anthropology major, and the thing that I tell every interviewer is that my anthropology perspective makes me think differently. I see the world differently than other people, and that is something that has gotten me every single job that I've had at UW.
One thing that you can do that can really help in a co-op interview is doing some background research on the company or organization that you're applying for, and trying to ask questions at the end of the interview that sort of relate to their mission or mandate and things like that.
Good attitude is actually something that's really important, because when you're trying to impress an employer, they don't only want to know whether or not you have the skills, but they want to know whether or not you'll be a good fit on their team. Especially if you are lacking skills in some areas, just demonstrating that you have a desire to learn and a passion to contribute to the team, that will make up for it.